Hey guys, welcome. So it looks like we got enough power here to go to Valrayo. We're gonna go ahead and start this episode and open up some of our companions' dialogues now. So we'll start over here with Cassandra.
I think you need practice dummies made of sturdier stuff.
That would be nice.
Like maybe iron.
Did I do the right thing? What I have set in motion here could destroy everything I have revered my whole life. One day they may write about me as a traitor, a madwoman, a fool, and they may be right.
What does your faith tell you?
I believe you are innocent. I believe more is going on here than we can see. And I believe no one else cares to do anything about it. They will stand in the fire and complain that it is hot. But is this the Maker's will? I can only guess.
You don't think I'm the Herald of Andraste?
I think you were sent to help us. I hope you were. But the Maker's help takes many forms. Sometimes it's difficult to discern who it truly benefits, or how.
What's going to happen now?
Now, we deal with the Chantry's panic over you before they do even more harm. Then we close the breach. We are the only ones who can. After that, we find out who is responsible for this chaos, and we end them. And if there are consequences to be paid for what I have done, I pay them. I only pray the price is not too high.
You didn't have any choice.
Didn't I? My trainers always said, Cassandra, you are too brash. You must think before you act. I see what must be done, and I do it. I see no point in running around in circles like a dog chasing its tail. But I misjudged you in the beginning, did I not? I thought the answer was before me, clear as day. I cannot afford to be so careless again.
It wasn't like you had no reason to suspect me.
I was determined to have someone answer for what happened. Anyone. You've said you don't believe you're chosen. Does that mean you also don't believe in the Maker?
Dalish?
I'm Dalish. I believe in our own gods.
And there's no room among your gods for one more? I suppose it doesn't matter now. I have to believe we were put on this path for a reason, even if you do not. Now it simply remains to see where it leads us.
Lee, what you gonna do? Okay. So.
We've got scattered reports of Tevinter sightings in the hinterlands.
Mages?
And their servants, yes. You think they might be connected to the attack on the Conclave?
Assumption Scout Palane. No Circle Mage has ever caused anything like the breach.
Fair point.
So, now that Cassandra's out of earshot, are you holding up all right? I mean, you go from being the most wanted criminal in Thedas to joining the armies of the faithful. Most people would have spread that out over more than one day.
Well, not most people there, Varric.
I have no idea what's happening anymore.
That makes two of us. For days now, we've been staring at the breach, watching demons and Maker knows what fall out of it. Bad for morale would be an understatement. I still can't believe anyone was in there and lived.
If it was that bad, why did you stay? Cassandra said you were free to go.
I like to think I'm as selfish and irresponsible as the next guy, but this? Thousands of people died on that mountain. I was almost one of them. And now there's a hole in the sky. Even I can't walk away and just leave that to sort itself out.
The breach needs to be sealed. The sooner the better.
If it can be sealed,
Excuse me.
you might want to consider running at the first opportunity. I've written enough tragedies to recognize where this is going. Heroes are everywhere. I've seen that. But the hole in the sky, that's beyond heroes. We're going to need a miracle.
The Conclave
And how
is our
much did you
best
need?
chance for peace. The Divine, the Mages, the Templars...
Is there any way you could get by with
everyone
6?
ready to talk. And now all of them are dead.
I was really hoping you only needed 6. That's for certain.
Oh, Maker, you're here. You're the Herald of Andraste. And you were sent to shame us for mistreating the elves. I pay my elves good and proper, you should know. Friend of the alienage and all, and... I mean, I'm Flissa. Can I get you a drink?
Oh, I don't know why I did that.
I'm not from an alienage. I'm Dalish.
Oh, right. Of course. Because of the things on your face. Yes. As I said, I'm Flissa. The Inquisition soldiers needed a place to unwind, so Leliana brought me in to set up a tavern. Nothing fancy, but it's safer for the soldiers than looking for trouble in some village.
You said Leliana asked you to run an Inquisition tavern. How did you meet?
Dumb luck, mainly. I managed an inn back in Denerim. When I heard interesting gossip, I passed word to Liliana. Sometimes it was helpful. She asked if I wanted to own my own tavern, and I said yes. I didn't realize she meant this.
What can you tell me about this area?
Adan is Haven's apothecary. He's been making potions and tending to the wounded as best he can. Harrit is the Inquisition smith. Whatever he can make you, Thren the quartermaster can probably find. And for anything fancier, you can try buying from Segrit. His prices aren't too high. Yet. Oh, there's also Minave. She studies beasts and things, as I understand.
Farewell.
Goodbye.
Okay. Characters here. Colin, whatever you heard of Kirkwell's rebellion, the truth is far worse. I would spare you that. What remains of Kirkwell's Templars have been under my command for the past few years. We have done what we could to assist with the city's recovery, to restore some semblance of order. But my time here is done. Seeker Penagos has approached me. She wishes to stop the war between mages and Templars. She has been recruiting men and women to the cause and wishes me to oversee the group's military concerns. If the conclave goes well, then we will not be needed. If not, we will stand ready. I have decided to take Seeker Penagos' offer. The circle has fallen, and I can give no more to the Templar Order, nor it to me. Maker has shown me a new path. I must take it. Excerpt from a letter sent to the South Reach by Commander Colin. Josephine Maliette. I can never say her last name correctly. It's not going to start now. Seeker Cassandra. Josephine Maliette is a noble from the nation of Antiba. She is educated in Valrayo, where she built a connection among the court. Once she's finished her schooling at a surprising young age, Lady Maliette became the official diplomat between King Farango of Antiba to the Empress Celine of Olay. The appointment suits her. She is well-traveled, familiar with many forms of etiquette, and by all accounts a skilled negotiator. If that endorsement is not sufficient, Josephine is a personal friend. I have faith in her. We require some both influential and trustworthy to be an ambassador for the Inquisitor. You can't tell me you would prefer to take the job yourself, Sister Liliana. Funny. All right. She has many names. Most know her as Sister Liliana or the Nightingale. Some refuse to speak her name at all, referring to her only as the left hand of the divine, the shadow behind the Sunburst throne. The spymaster Marjolaine trained Liliana from a young age. For years, Liliana was Marjolaine's instrument in the great game of Olay, while Liliane was devoted to Marjolaine. The reverse was not true. Marjolaine betrayed Liliana and almost succeeded in killing her. Liliana survived the betrayal thanks to revered Mother Dorothea. Following this betrayal, Liliana spent several years in a cloister in Ferelden, hiding from her past. Inspired by revered Mother Dorothea, Liliana dedicated herself to her faith, discovering peace in a simple life of devotion. But when the fifth blight began, she received what she believes a vision from the Maker. This prompted her to leave her sanctuary, taking up arms against the Darkspawn. 7 years later, after the defeat of the archdemon, Liliana received a summoning from Dorothea, now divine Justina of the Fifth. She returned to Olay to become an agent of the Sunburst throne. Justina perished in the explosion that destroyed the divine conclave, and Lily became a founding member and spymaster to the new Inquisition. Okay. Arbor Blessing. Blessed by the vein in the spring, I shall not fear the winter sting. Arbor Blessing is a useful vine that is notorious difficult to cultivate, as it has a mind of its own. The wind often carries its medicinal seeds to great distance from the parent plant. It is hard to say what causes the seed to sprout once they land. However, it has long been believed that the comfort and abundance follow where Arbor Blessing goes. Perhaps the vine only chooses conditions that promote rich harvests from domestic flora. Therefore, see Arbor Blessing in spring, and you shall not grow hungry in the winter. An expert, the Botanical Commandant by Innis Arcana Botanis. Crystal Grace. The flower of crystal grace plants are appreciated for their beauty as well as their medical value. Pale blue and shaped like delicate crystal balls, the flowers should almost tinkle in the breeze. In fact, I have heard a tale of an Orlesian lady who ordered crystal graces to be planted all over her boyer and then hired a mage from the White Spire to enchant them to do just that. Eventually, she grew tired of the chiming and set fire to her lawn in a fit of bacchus. Let us learn from this. These plants were created exactly as our Maker intended, and our interference rarely improves them. Dragonthorn. The wood of the dragonthorn tree is prized for its strength and has been used to craft bows of remarkable quality, but the leaves are equally valuable. Alchemists have known for centuries that an extract of dragonthorn leaves will enhance and stabilize other, more of a vital magical component. Embryum. Embryum are flowers from the orchid family. Its therapeutical qualities were actually discovered because of the embryum's exceptional beauty. The beloved daughter of a Lord Ignis Pluence of Olay fell victim to a terrible sickness of the lungs, which her healers were unable to cure. Thinking the girl would soon perish, her parents surrounded her bed with bright-colored flowers, hoping that they would bring some warmth and cheer into her last days. Oddly enough, the girl began to recover from the illness and grew stronger each day. Her parents were baffled but overjoyed. The healers eventually learned that the fragrance of the flowers eased the child's breathing. The flower was an embryo, and later became known as the Solaris embryo. The other variant that has certain magical properties is known as the dark embryo. Fenris. The name Fenris is Elven, meaning demon weed, which is fitting for the rare plant because it grows only in places where the veil is thin. Fenris is easily identified. It's a twisted, wicked-looking shrub with long, thorny shoots and no leaves. A skeletal hand reaching out from the unmarked grave. Many swear that the plants radiate a palpable aura of malevolence, so it comes as no surprise that it unnerves many a junior herbalist. Prophet's laurel. According to Elysian folklore, Andraste's followers are sympathizers tossed sprigs of laurel in her path as she was led to her pyre. After she burned, her ashes blew across the leaves onto the ground, bestowing upon them their purifying qualities. It is just a tale, of course. The laurel has recognized as a healing herb long before Andraste's time. Ancient adventure scrolls describe the use of the laurel in poultices, tincture cheese, and even incense. Though the legend might be pure fabrication, the laurel will always be a symbol of Andraste's sacrifice. Its glossy dark leaves represents the sword of mercy. The red berries the drop of blood upon it. Fundel aurea is a flowering shrub related to the rare and nearly extinct Philodus aurea, otherwise known as the Silent Plains rose. Of course, neither variety of era is true rose, and they are called roses only because they are a sweet scent. The fragrance of the era, however, is lighter and greener than that of her rare cousin, and redolent of honey and cut grass. The Philodus era is best known for being the only plant capable of growing on blighted lands, for her era lacks this quality, but it is capable of proliferating almost everywhere else, even though she seems to favor dry, acrid climes. If left to grow wild, the variety takes over a space, choking out any other plants, unfortunately enough to be in her way. Adolia. I said that you could take a few components for your personal use. I'm certain I didn't say you could empty our stores. Enchanted Ines looked like she was shitting hog nuts when she noticed. Do you know how long it took to collect that wither stock? I know what you're doing with it. No one needs that many warming draughts. I'm locking the chest. Find your own wither stock, or perhaps either you or Feren could try to stick to your own quarters. A note written by our apprentice Varen of the Ferelden Circle. Maker Vera. That is not what's going on. All the wither stock in the chest was dried anyway, and you know it only efficient as is preventative when the sap is fresh. I'm more interested in its effect on the mind when combined with certain other plants. Ines knows all about it. Just ask her. She probably forgot that I had already told her, old bat. And please, Fran and I are more than able to amuse ourselves without resorting to the tired old dip and stir. Maybe if you got out of the botanical section and looked at other books. Apprentice Elendor reply. Archers. To fight an enemy with a bow or crossbow is simple, although not always easy. A guard with a crossbow must crank his weapon after each shot if it is only such enemy. Seek cover and give him cause to waste his shot, and then close upon him before he may fire again. If there are many, close to their flanks so you face one guard directly, using them as a second shield, and no other guard has a clean shot at your unprotected back. Do not move to the middle of their rank and rely upon them hesitating to risk hitting one another. A soldier with a short bow is a little more dangerous. Attack him as you would an enemy with a crossbow, but accept that he will likely fire again. Approach with your shield up, even if you must sacrifice speed. Few soldiers are true masters of the bow. Those who do not fumble their draw in fear will fire a shot quickly. So it's most likely to glance off your armor or shield than punch through. Few soldiers have the skill or strength to make good use of longbow. Respect those who do. Against such an enemy covered in only defense, move quickly across his field of vision, forcing him to contemplate for your movements. Do not charge directly unless your allies can distract him. A full-drawn longbow can drive an arrow through a chevalier's plate at 100 yards. A fight between an archer and a chevalier is a test of cunning versus patience. We are too often patient. Heavily armored as we are and faced with lightly armed foes who could harness us. While archers frustrate me as they do most chevaliers, it is good that we fight them, so we remember how to be cunning, how to break an opponent's patience. An excerpt from the Mediterranean upon the use of blades by swordsman Mashit Jehemain, I don't know. Required reading from the Archimede des Chevaliers. Boy, that was a tongue twister. Anyway. My dearest and best father and lord, you are strong and fair and obviously the most handsome Arl in all of Ferelden. I want a fence. Please, please, please get me one. I saw a picture in a book Bridge was carrying for Master Farrell, and it was fluffiest and most delightful creature I've ever seen. The book says they live in the mountains and eat vile and repulsive things like that. When I get mine, I will feed it only nice things, like cake and pearls. Please, please, please send someone to catch one. I really need one right now. Ruby wants company. It's not my fault Premian Bobble broke. Don't believe anything Elaine says. Please, I promise I will spend no more gold on silks this month. It's too cold anyway. Your most loving and obedient daughter, Harbin. A note from Harbin Brayland to her father, Leonis Brayland. Earl of Southreach, written in 931 Dragon. Reports indicated that Arbin did receive a white fox as a gift from her father. Later that month, she promptly lost it down a well. Horrible child. A novice believes his sword of the utmost importance and his shield there to show his family colors. All scoffed at the foolishness, but the older students, thinking his shield's a sign from the maker that he cannot be struck down, is a little wiser. A warrior coming away from battle with his shield dented and ripped may be praised for bravery. A warrior coming away with his shield merely scratched should be praised for the skill. Remember that every metal shield was beaten into shape and may be beaten out of it. Even a blow that does not tear a hole drives impact through your arm and shoulder, where shock and pain will wear down even the strongest warrior. In a duel against a single opponent, you may seek a quick advantage in taking a blow directly to the shield in order to strike one in return. If you are protecting another, you may have no choice. In all other cases, against one opponent or many, it is better to hide the movement of your hips and shoulders behind your shield, forcing enemies to focus on it rather than you. It is also true when fighting an opponent so armed, your goal is not the shield, but the man behind it. Circling or locking shields may gain you an advantage position. Failing that, rain blows upon his defense until he tires and his guard grows sloppy. If you are neither skilled enough to slip past him nor fit enough to wear him down, you will most likely die. An excerpt from a meditation upon use of blades by Swords Master, whatever that name is. I'm not going to try butchering it again. Nug. I was sure before the Blight they were a whole lot more rare. Should ask a warden about that. If killing an archdemon leaves nugs all over. And the poor things don't seem built for anywhere. I mean, they feed on anything. But the blistering in the desert and the freezing in the snow, and they're easier to track than your own arse. Everything eats them, except me. The hands that put me off. Yet they thrive. Randy Bastard outpaces every tooth and claw. Anyway, my point is, the ones around the farms are so inbreed. They are 5 colors and can't stop peeing. I'm selling them in the capital as exclusive Eastern bunny pigs. What do you think? What did Father say about idiots with deep pockets? Excerpt from the private letters of Captain Baron Lapnug Dealer. Produced in evidence after 7 claims of water terriers and death following bites in the Garden District. 936. Rams is a marvelous creature. Its wool makes the best lining for winter coats this side of the mountains. The horns and bones can be crushed into powders and mixed with the solid for a healthy crop, or soil for the healthy crop, or charged and grounded into ink powder. The hide makes a good cover in a window against the wind. You can burn the dun in a pinch, melt down its fat for candles. I haven't even mentioned the meat. With a full-grown ram, you can make a stew big enough for a village and have enough left over for a week. So there'll be no more complaining about being paid in sheep for your work during the harvest. With that ram and a few ewes, you can start your own flock. You're lucky to have them handed to you instead of needing to go and tame a wild one. Listen to your father for once. Take care of those animals and they'll take care of you. Letter from a Ferelden farmer to his son. Spellbinder. I confess myself troubled by the rise in mages binding multiple spirits at a single object. Among the Mortaritasi, interacting with spirits is a serious, even intimate undertaking. These spellbinders, they call themselves, bind many simple spirits, usually to books or other easy compartmentalized objects, set with runes, and they have stripped the interaction with spirits of its importance, reducing it to a mere mechanical exercise. That such a magic is useful to spellbinders, I do not argue. Although the power contained in these objects, it is difficult to focus. The difficult magic can easily distribute energy across a broad area. Argumenting the mage's allies. The spellbinders insist no individual spirit is capable of breaking their bindings, and that the spirit cannot cooperate well enough to effect an escape together. Furthermore, they maintain that because the bindings are all tied to the spellbinders personally, there is no risk of these enchanted books falling into the wrong hands. Still, the books are in their hands, and I am concerned. Although the practice has spread across most of Thedas by now, it seems to have originated in Deventer. These mages bind spirits and demons too readily, and it is not natural for spirits to remain in the world for any great length of time. Our Maker placed the veil between our world and the Fade for a reason, after all. Who are we to second-guess his wishes? Perhaps I have grown more reverence in my old age. An expert from The Life Among the Dead by Enchanter Remote Hegel, senior member of the Mortasi. Okay. Groups. This one. Rebel mages. Where else the circle was established not merely to protect the world from mages, but also allow mages to protect or practice their art safely and without fear. And where else under Lord Seeker Lambert command, the Templars sworn to protect all people, including mages, from the harm effects of magic, have instead prosecuted mages with such biased judgment to worsen the problem they were meant to mitigate. And where else the right of tranquility, intended as a tool of the last resort to stopping uncontrolled mages from hurting themselves or others, has instead been used for punitive and political purposes to silence dissent and inhabit civilization discord. And where else Andraste herself intended the relationship between mages and Templars to be one of practitioner and protector, not prisoner and jailer. And this contract has been broken, leaving mages in fear for their lives from those sworn to protect them. Now, therefore, the Circle of Magi declares the following. We, the mages of Ferelden and Olay, do hereby dissolve the circles and renounce our sworn submission to the Order of the Templars. Effective immediately. We reiterate Andraste's assertion that magic was made to serve man and not rule over him, and state unequivocally that we will use our ability only to defend ourselves from those who see us relinquish our lives and freedom under the presumption of guilt for crimes we have not committed. We condemn those practitioners of magic who, through illness of the mind or understandable but misguided anger at those who oppress them, would use their Maker-given powers to threaten innocent lives, and we pledge to aid any legitimate and impartial government in bringing these lawless apostates to justice. We look earnest to a future of cooperation between all people of Thedas, free from persecution and prejudice, and hope to build a better world alongside all who approach us with friendship instead of fear. Yours in the service to Andraste and the Maker, the free mages of Thedas. A leaflet distributed in the town and villages across Olay and Ferelden. I mean, it makes sense, right? They've been so oppressed for so many years. Some are going to just go crazy and start killing everything and anything, just like Templars have been led by the Templar on just pure hate. And then you have all the middle ones where Templars want to get back to, coexisting with the mages, and mages that want to be free, make judgments, but coexist with the Templars without being glared or oppressed. I mean, there's not much more you can say about that. I mean, it's one where the Templars and mages had to come to a breaking point eventually. Okay, Templar Order, end of the Accord. One moment here, I'm taking a drink. Okay, much better. Sorry about that. Most holy, the Seekers are well aware of the part you played in the rebellion. You called me to the Grand Cathedral in the middle of the night on urgent business, only to speak of trivial matters. And then when I returned to the White Spire, I discovered Cass, and one of your agents in the midst of the apostates. Did you think I would not notice? Did you believe yourself above repercussions for such acts? It was a dark day when the Chantry placed such an incapable woman upon the Thunburst Stone. I will not stand idle and watch you destroy what ages of tradition and righteousness have built. In the 20th year of the Divine Age, Navarra Accord was signed. The Seekers of Truth lowered our banners and agreed to serve as a Chantry's right hand, and together we created the Circle of Magi. With the Circle no more, I hereby declare the Accord null and void. Neither the Seekers of Truth nor the Templar Order recognize the Chantry's authority, and instead we will perform the Maker's work as it was meant to be done, as we see fit. Signed this day on the 14th year of the Dragon Age, Lord Seeker Lambert Van Reeves. Letter sent to Divine Justinia from the former Lord Seeker, who is now dead, if you read the books. Alright. Often portrayed as a stoic and grim, the Order of the Templars were created as a martial arm of the Chantry, armed with the ability to dispel and resist magic in addition to their formidable combat talents. Templars are uniquely qualified to act as both a foil and apostates, mages who refuse to submit to the authority of the Circle, and a first line of defense against the dark powers of blood mages and abominations. While mages often resent the Templars as symbols of the Chantry's control over magic, the people of Theta sees them as the savior and holy warriors, champions of all that is good, armed with the petty enough to protect the world from the ravages of foul magic. In reality, the Chantry's military arm looks first for skilled warriors with unshakable faith in the Maker, with flawless moral center at the secondary concern. And that's why Chantry is bad. You should have more look into the moral center than unshakable faith. But that is one way for them to insert control, of course, breed it into them, the Chantry, so that they fear. Alright. Templars must carry out their duty with an emotional distance. That doesn't help anything either. And the Order of Templars prefer soldiers with religious fierce and absolute loyalty over the paragons of future who might question orders when it comes time to make difficult choices. There you go again. That's act the way Chantry wants. Don't think about your moral effects. Chantry leash. The Templars' power derived from the substance lyrium, a mineral believed to be the raw elements of creation. While mages use lyrium in their arcane spells and rituals, the Templars ingest the primal mineral to enhance their abilities to resist and dispel magic. Lyrium use it as is regulated by Chantry, another leash, but some Templars suffer from lyrium addiction, another leash, the effects of which includes paranoia, obsession, and dementia. And you wonder why the Templars all went crazy. The most of them that are rebelling right now and out of control in the hinterlands. Templars knowingly submit themselves to this treatment in service of the Order and the Maker. Dumb. It is this sense of ruthlessness, pity that the most frightens mages when they draw the Templars' attention. When the Templars are sent to eliminate a possible blood mage, there is no reason with them. And if the Templars are prepared, the mage's magic is still about useless. Driven by their faith, the Templars are one of the most feared and respected forces in Theros. Again, without reasoning with them. Somebody can point at a mage and say, "Oh, blood mage," and they'll attack because they've been so addicted to lyrium that it causes paranoia and obsession. There won't be any, it's, a drug, basically. There is no stopping drug addicted people. They have to clean out. And for Colin and his Templars, cleaning out gives them a free moral choice. They're still, some of them, like Colin says, unchecked, or we'll get to that place when we get further in, where he has a little reserved for, mages and expects them to turn on him at a moment. That's been installed so many years. And even some of his words can cause people to think that there's no reputation for them Templars. But starting to get off the lyrium is the first attempt. Once they clean out a little more and get their minds more set, they can become more remorseful, more clear-headed, and be able to think more accurately and gain that respect towards mages. That's why I love romancing Colin, is because he grows into it. He starts kind of rough in what he says, but then as the story goes on and whatever, with the mage that he falls in love with or whatever person, relax around it a little more, and it shows character growth. To me, that's it. Everybody's got their own opinions, to a point where where we get a couple more companions, there's no absolute growth in them, and I will be talking about that later on which ones. But Oculera, we already read that. Places. Ferelden after the Blight. One needs only to stroll through the general markets to appreciate Ferelden's resistance. You'd be hard-pressed to believe that Darkspawn ravaged the city within our lifetime. Scarred remains for the people who lived through it, but life moves forward. Now children play in the streets, children for whom the Blight is a story their parents tell. I once heard a small boy ask what a Darkspawn was. To him it was only a word he heard from the older youths. We teach that a learning child is a blessing upon his parents and unto the Maker. Andraste, forgive me, but I felt joy at his smiling ignorance. King Alistair and his wife made such a scene possible. Some say the Queen's absence weigh on our King's mind. Even so, his actions are a puzzle to me. Despite the events at Kirkwall, Ferelden continues to offer refugees to the rebel mages, which only brings trouble to our doorstep. It already has. Rumor among the merchants suggests that Starkhaven places sanctions on trade as a sign of protest. One hears of conflict in the hinterlands between Templars and mages. Mother Diane says I am to accompany her to the conclave in Haven. She says to have faith in the divine Justinia, and that whatever comes, we shall see that the Makers will done. I think of those smiling children who have not grown up with the death and fear, and I pray it is so. A letter from Sister Cara of the Darenham Chantry to her sister in the Free Marches. Hinterlands. My lord Arl Tegan, I retired to the hinterlands for peace and quiet, away from the politics, and because the wide open spaces were perfect to let my horses run. Instead, the war between the mages and Templars have turned your beautiful hills into a series of burning battlefields. The farmers who live in the hinterlands are good folk. Many of them left Redcliffe Village because they couldn't bear to be there anymore. Not after the Blight and the Walking Dead left so many bad memories. Now we've got apostates running around, setting fires to anyone who looked at them sideways, and Templars looting houses and cutting down those who protect as mages sympathizers. My wife and I sent off our field hands to stay with their families in the east, but there are a lot of poor people here with nowhere to go. Get more refugees every day. The village attacked by mad mages, or the farms that burned to the ground by Templars who can't tell a hole from a staff. I suppose you're stretched thin, but anything you can do to lessen the burden of these poor folks would be much appreciated. I'll do what I can, and if your men need better mounts, say the word. Best of luck to you, my lord. Remember not to let Duchess puff out of her gut when you saddle her. Yours in service, Dennett. A letter from the Redcliffe's former horsemaster to Arl Tegan of Redcliffe, undelivered. Resources found here. Elford, Spinnerwood, blood. Okay. We don't need to. Okay, well. I suppose. Well, let's read it. Maker, have you left me here? Temple sacred ashes. Tragic, mark upon our lands. Skyfall, let the darkness rain on thee. Now flee from the dark dragon's heart. Warring battle scar eyes. Breach into the fade has come. Demon, please spare my life and our sons. Rise. Find me still searching for someone to lead me. Can you guide me to the revolt inside me? Promise surviving the breach. Promise surviving the breach in the sky. Templars ignite fire inside me. Maker reminds me gone are the days of our peace. And now we reside in the great divine. No promise surviving the breach in the sky. And this is all from Meriden, by the way. At least most of these are. Okay. And I'm not worrying about these. But I do want them cleared so I know. Get rid of some of these saves. All right. So I got a little confession before we talk to the Solus here. He is my last unlocked romance. Now, here's the reason why. When I first played the game, I want to be a mage. I want to be a human mage. I had played the 2 Dragon Age series as mages, and I always wanted, after using the mods for DAO, wanted to romance Cullen, because it's just, you know, something about Cullen, and that striked with me. Now, as the game progressed, as I was romancing Cullen, Solus really came my next one that I wanted to, until I played Traspaster. And my anger got the best of me, I guess. Felt betrayed and whatnot, and I'm sure the romance is going to be worse. But, so I decided to romance everybody else. But this is going to fit perfectly into my gameplay. So all these Solus fans, I don't hate Solus. He's a great character. I hope we can redeem him in Veilguard. But I also think the man is not possessed, I guess just obsessed is the word I want, with trying to fix wrongs from the past and going to lengths of trying to get what was once before instead of trying to do it in the present time. Trying to bring too much of the past back in one great swoop. I'm sure you can do that in small doses, but I don't know. It's just my thought, I guess, but we are going to romance Solus in this series, so here we go.
The chosen of Andraste, the blessed heroes sent to save us all.
Am I riding in on a shining steed?
I would have suggested a griffon, but sadly they're extinct. Joke as you will, posturing is necessary. I've journeyed deep into the Fade in ancient ruins and battlefields to see the dreams of lost civilizations. I've watched as hosts of spirits clash to reenact the bloody past in ancient wars both famous and forgotten. Every great war has its heroes. I'm just curious what kind you'll be.
What do you mean, ruins and battlefields?
Any building strong enough to withstand the rigors of time has a history. Every battlefield is steeped in death. Both attract spirits. They press against the veil, weakening the barrier between our worlds. When I dream in such places, I go deep into the Fade. I can find memories no other living being has ever seen.
You fall asleep in the middle of ancient ruins. Isn't that dangerous?
I do set wards. And if you leave food out for the giant spiders, they are usually content to live and let live.
I've never heard of anyone going so far into the Fade. That's extraordinary.
Thank you. It's not a common field of study for obvious reasons. Not so flashy as throwing fire or lightning. The thrill of finding remnants of a 1,000-year-old dream? I would not trade it for anything. I will stay then. At least until the breach has been closed.
Was that in doubt?
I am an apostate surrounded by Chantry forces in the middle of a mage rebellion. Cassandra has been accommodating, but you understand my caution.
You came here to help, Solus. I won't let them use that against you.
How would you stop them?
However I had to.
Thank you. But now let us hope either the mages or the Templars have the power to seal the breach.
Alright. The first additional flirt has happened.
Your kind killed the most holy.
Lies. Your kind let her die.
Shut your mouth, mage!
Enough!
Knight Captain.
That is not my title. We are not Templars any longer. We are all part of the Inquisition.
And what does that mean, exactly?
Back already, Chancellor. Haven't you done enough?
I'm curious, Commander, as to how your Inquisition and its herald will restore order as you've promised.
Of course you are. Back to your duties, all of you. Mages and Templars were already at war. Now they're blaming each other for the Divine's death.
Which is why we require a proper authority to guide them back to order.
Who?
Can we
you?
get both? There we go.
Random clerics who weren't important enough to be at the Conclave.
The Rebel Inquisition and its so-called Herald of Andraste? I think not.
If the proper authority hadn't completely failed, the Conclave wouldn't have been needed.
So you suggest I blame the Chantry
Yes,
and
please.
exalt a murderer? What of justice?
You don't
That
know
won't
I'm a
help restore
murderer.
order in the here and now.
Thank you, Colin.
Order will never be restored so long as this rebellion is allowed to fester.
Rebellion.
How widespread is the violence between mages and Templars?
Impossible to say.
Your organization flouting the Chantry's authority will not help matters.
With the Conclave destroyed, I imagine the war between mages and Templars is renewed with interest.
The mages and Templars are fighting, even though we don't know what really happened at the Temple of Sacred Ashes.
Exactly why all this should be left to a new divine.
Are you not?
If you are innocent,
Pick
the
that pencil
Chantry
up,
will
please.
establish it as so.
Or we'll be happy to use someone as a scapegoat.
You think nobody cares
It's
about
fine.
the truth?
Go snuggle into
We
the
all
couch.
grieve Justinia's loss.
But you won't grieve if the Herald of Andraste is conveniently swept under a carpet.
Sorry, my son says he's finally hungry, so we're gonna finish what I want to do here. I'll edit the video while I feed my sick little boy.
Remind me why you're allowing the Chancellor to stay?
Clearly, your Templar knows where to draw the line.
He's toothless. There's no point turning him into a martyr simply because he runs at the mouth. The Chancellor's a good indicator of what to expect in Val Royeaux, however.
Well, let's hope we find solutions and not a cathedral full of chancellors.
The stuff of nightmares.
Mock, if you will. I'm certain the Maker is less amused.
I'm sure he's very amused by that.
You dislike the Templar, sister?
No. I know their purpose, but you remember I once ministered in a circle chantry.
Yes. I assumed you were used to having Templars around, keeping us safe from the mages.
The mages in the circle follow the chant of light as faithfully as the Templars, sister. More faithfully than some Templars, even. Some of the things those Templars did when they thought I did not see.
Mm-hmm.
Blessed are the peacekeepers, the champions of the just. Blessed are the righteous, the lights in the shadow. In their blood, the Maker's will is written. Is that what you want from us? Blood? To die so that your will is done? Is death your only blessing?
You speak for Andraste, no? What does the Maker's prophet have to say about all of this? What's his game?
Now, if you don't know, in this part when we're talking to Liliana, if you want her to be divine, you have to soften her, and that's my game plan, okay?
How is this a game?
Do you see the sky? What about the temple ruins? The bones lying in the dust? Even if you didn't support the Divine's peace, you wouldn't call this right. Who could? So many innocent lives. The faithful murdered where the holiest of holies once stood. If the Maker willed this, what is it if not a game or a cruel joke?
Don't ask me. I'm as baffled as you are.
You probably don't even worship the Maker. Lucky. He asks a lot. The Chantry teaches that the Maker abandoned us. He demands repentance for our sins. He demands it all. Our lives, our deaths. Justinia gave him everything she had, and he let her die.
Maybe you should be angry at the people who murdered her.
If the Maker doesn't intervene to save the best of his servants, what good is he? I used to believe I was chosen, just as some say you are. I thought I was fulfilling his purpose for me, working with the Divine, helping people. But now she's dead. It was all for nothing. Serving the Maker meant nothing.
Maybe you have another purpose. I could help you find it.
No, this is my burden. I regret that I even let you see me like this. It was a moment of weakness. It won't happen again. Come. To work, then. We will speak later.
Even if you plan sometimes not to do Liliana, softener is fairly good further.
I hope my hunch was wrong.
You knew him well?
Not as well as I thought. Show me the reports. There were so many questions surrounding Faria's death. Did he think we wouldn't notice? He's killed Faria. One of my best agents. And knows where the others are. You know what must be done. Make it clean. Painless if you can. We were friends once. Wait. What are you doing? He betrayed us. He murdered my agent. And you'd kill him. Just like that. You find fault with my decision?
I'm sure most of your decisions are fine. But that one? A little extreme.
Extreme? Butler's betrayal put our agents in danger. I condemned one man to save dozens. I may not like what I do, but it must be done. I cannot afford the luxury of ideals at a time like this.
Now is precisely the time for ideals.
You feel very strongly about this. Very well. I will think of another way to deal with this man. Apprehend Butler, but see that he lives. Now, if you're happy, I have more work to do.
Yes, very happy. Was there? Okay.
You find anything we need?
Yes, yes.
How can you be so calm when everything you believe called into question?
I don't need some old woman in Valroya to tell me how to worship the Maker. We tend the sick, feed the poor, clothe the naked, and sing the chant. Seek a Pentagast will attend to the rest. The Maker forgive anyone who gets in her way.
Right?
These truths the Maker has revealed to me.
Researcher Minave wishes to verify that the infections have decreased in number.
Yes. Thank you for your help. Tell me, are you happy this way? With everything you feel and dream cut away?
I no longer talk to dragons.
I see. Maker, go with you.
Are you happy this way? I don't talk to dragons.
Greetings, Herald of Andraste. How fares your quest to seal the breach?
Now, I know, baby. I'm recording, honey. I'll be right there. Give me a moment, guys. I'm gonna pause this. Okay, so we're almost over an hour. Let's just talk to her quick.
Well, you know how these things go. At least, I hope someone does.
You laugh to bring a little light into the darkness. And I'm glad to see it. Too many see laughter as antithetical to the chant of light. They imagine Andraste as a grim warrior all her life, forgetting that she loved and was loved in return. I hope she found time for laughter during her trials, as I hope you do.
You realize that I follow my people's gods, not the Maker.
Fair enough. But Andraste lived, and her deeds, however shrouded by myth, have their basis in fact. If you do not believe the chant of light, at least consider it a map of the dangers you might face. In any case, I pray this Inquisition proves less brutal than its predecessor.
Hopefully.
Is there anything I can do to help you or your people?
My healers would benefit from more supplies. We have run short of even common goods with so many wounded. If you could deliver this list and the items on it to Quartermaster Thren, she could get us what we need. It may not seem like much, but it would enable my healers to save many lives.
Farewell.
Make her go with you.
Alright, guys. This is where we're gonna end it. The recording's pretty long anyway. And my son is ready to eat. He's had a little cold. So, I'm gonna go feed my baby, edit this, and then get it posted up later tonight. I also have a volleyball game to go to for my daughter as well today. So, we'll see you guys tomorrow in the new episodes. Bye now.